car show was filmed at an MOT station, I think in St Albans, and every year they lock it down for 12 weeks, and they were just gearing up to go for their whatever season, and the premises where they were had a problem. It felt like they were maybe holding them to ransom, they wanted more money, or something was happened about the premise.
And as the culture changes and the environment that we live in has massively changed. In the 10 years I've been on TV, social media has changed. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Ant Anstead became a familiar name to gearheads worldwide when he stepped into Wheeler Dealers as the new lead mechanic. Viewers connected with the energy he brought to each episode and the confidence he showed under the hood. However, his sudden announcement that he was leaving the show caught many fans off guard, sparking rumors about possible behind-the-scenes disagreements and claims that he simply wanted a new direction. Till today, fans still ask what truly led to his exit and what he has been doing since. So, join us as we discuss what really happened to Ant Anstead. She is pretty, she is lovely. She looks really good. Really straight. The panels are amazing. And I love the color. Now, the engineering is brilliant. This is a genius piece of design because where most cars were liquid-cooled, a radiator full of coolant, and that coolant will cool the engine down, this car was air-cooled. It relied on the flow of air to keep the engine cold. Ant Anstead made his debut on Wheeler Dealers in season 14 when he replaced longtime mechanic Ed China. Stepping into a role that fans already loved was not easy, but Ant quickly won many of them over. During his seasons with Mike Brewer, Wheeler Dealers continued to pull strong audiences on both sides of the Atlantic. The show was already a successful format, running since 2003, and Ant's time on the series helped carry it through its move to the United States and into later seasons. Episodes with Ant reached gearheads across the globe through Discovery and Motor Trend, building him a much larger following than he had before. So, it was a bit surprising when Ant dropped a bombshell on Instagram that his time on Wheeler Dealers had come to an end. In his post, he wrote that the show was heading back to the United Kingdom and that he would not return with it. He said he was proudly handing the spanners over to Mark Elvis Priestley, a former Formula One mechanic who would take his place. He also explained that he would remain in California, where he had built a life since moving there for the show. Leaving Wheeler Dealers could have been a setback for Ant. Instead, he showed that his talent, personality, and work ethic can stand strong anywhere in the world. He also proved that he is more than a co-host who fixes cars for a show. He is a creator. He is a builder, and he is someone who is always looking forward to the next challenge. Speaking of challenges, Ant's time on Wheeler Dealers ran alongside a very difficult chapter in his personal life. Before it became general knowledge, his story with Christina Hawk began quietly. They met in late 2017 through a mutual friend about a year after Christina's separation from her first husband. At the time, Ant had recently divorced his first wife with whom he shares 2 children. Both were parents. Both had been through difficult breakups and both understood what it meant to balance work, family, and public attention. Their connection grew, and by early 2018, they were publicly a couple. Their relationship moved quickly. In December 2018, Ant and Christina married in a small ceremony at their home in Newport Beach, California. Friends and family attended what Christina later described as a winter wonderland-style wedding. Not long after, the duo began appearing in Christina's HGTV projects. Viewers saw glimpses of their happy family and heard them talk about raising children from previous relationships under one roof. In September 2019, they welcomed their son, Hudson London Anstead. For a while, everything seemed fine from the outside. Ant spoke in interviews about enjoying married life and building a shared home, while Christina also mentioned how well Ant handled the busy mix of work and family. Then things changed in 2020. In September of that year, Christina announced that she and Ant had separated. She shared a public statement saying that they had made the difficult decision to part and that their children would remain the priority. A few weeks later, reports confirmed that Ant was also coming to terms with the end of the marriage. Andy later spoke about going through a painful period and working on his own healing. Fast forward to November 2020, Christina filed for divorce and requested joint legal and physical custody of Hudson. The legal process continued into the following year. By June 2021, their divorce was finalized. Court records and reports stated that they agreed on joint legal and physical custody of Hudson and that neither would pay spousal support. However, the divorce did not simply end their relationship. It opened a series of problems that unfolded over several years. It was so bad that Ant lost about 23 lbs within weeks and joined a breakup recovery program to regain stability. He continued therapy, spent time at a healing retreat, and shared posts about the loneliness he felt as he adjusted to a quiet home without his children. To make matters worse, Christina went public with a new relationship shortly after the separation. Ant, who was not ready for any spotlight during this time, chose to stay low and avoid drawing public attention. Fast forward to April 2022. Ant filed for full custody of their son, Hudson. This decision surprised many people and quickly became a major topic online. In court documents, Ant raised concerns about Hudson's safety and how often Christina was with him. He also objected to Hudson appearing in certain social media posts and television content. Ant believed that his son should not be used for promotional work and stated that he wanted stronger protection for him. Christina, on the other hand, firmly denied any claim that she was careless. She said she was a committed mother and argued that Ant's accusations were unfair. She also pointed out that Ant promoted his own business online, which led some fans to accuse him of double standards. The public quickly split into two groups. Some supported Ant's effort to protect his son's privacy. Others believed that the dispute had become too public and too emotional. The controversy grew more intense when Ant mentioned the tragic case of Kylie Posey. He used the example to explain the pressure that child performers can face and why he felt cautious about media exposure for Hudson. This comment gained strong reactions and it pushed people to talk more seriously about the risks of involving young children in online content. The legal tension continued through most of 2022. However, a judge denied Ant's request for an emergency change. Instead of proceeding to a public hearing, Ant and Christina reached a settlement in November 2022 after a long mediation session. Reports confirmed that they agreed to continue sharing joint legal and physical custody with updated scheduling rules. Christina later said she would stop posting pictures of Hudson online to reduce public criticism. After this agreement, both of them gradually shifted toward a calmer form of co-parenting. So for fans who are not in the loop yet, this same period influenced Ant's decision to leave Wheeler Dealers at the end of 2020. When the show moved production back to the United Kingdom, Ant chose to stay behind so he could be close to Hudson. He said that he was proud of his work on the show, but being a father mattered most. This decision closed one chapter of his career while opening a new focus on family and personal healing. After his lengthy marital troubles in court, Ant called Radford the biggest risk of his life. He had walked away from a solid job, moved toward a business venture, and tied his name to a car that had to succeed. For the first year, the plan looked solid. The company held events, met collectors, and announced limited production numbers. To many people watching from the outside, Radford looked ready for a big return. However, trouble surfaced in 2023. Some customers who had paid deposits began posting online that they had not received their cars. Among the claimants was Timothy Tasker, who filed a lawsuit claiming that he made a deposit of $11,000 to Radford for one of their limited edition Lotus Radford Type 62-2 models in May 2022. After several meetings with Ant and his partners, Timothy said he was assured that deliveries would begin at the end of 2022. But by October 2023, he still had no update on the progress of his car, so he asked for a refund. According to Timothy, even after repeated follow-up messages, he received neither the car nor his money. Aside from this, a second lawsuit filed in July 2024 detailed similar allegations, but with a higher price tag. In a joint filing, a Florida-based surgeon and Lamborghini Palm Beach, a luxury car dealership, claimed they both ordered Ant's bespoke Radford Lotus vehicle. Although the two filed a lawsuit together, they didn't order the same thing. The dealership made deposits for a $450,000 Radford Lotus model, while the surgeon made deposits for the special edition Pikes Peak version, which cost $1 million. And just like the first claimant's case, Radford proposed a repayment structure for the vehicles, but the promises were never fulfilled. For many people who knew Ant from wheeler dealers, he was seen as a straightforward, respectable man with no history of controversy. So, this made fans curious about what actually went wrong with his business. According to reports, the deposits for the luxury cars by clients were allegedly mismanaged within the company. Radford's new CFO, Dan Bednarski, revealed that most of the funds intended for building the vehicles were redirected for other purposes, though specifics were not disclosed publicly. To make matters worse, Radford Motors filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in October 2024, citing financial problems and ongoing legal disputes. The news shocked many people, but it did little to calm customers who were already worried about whether they would ever recover their money or receive the cars they paid for. But that wasn't the first time Ant and his new company were in court. Sometime around March 2024, Ant found himself in yet another legal battle involving his company. But this time, the lawsuit was from a business partner and an early investor, Pastor Pat Velasco. According to reports, Pat alleged that Radford Motors owed him $2 million. This claim added another layer of trouble to a company already facing heavy scrutiny. Although the lawsuit focused on unpaid debts, it also revealed details about how Radford was being managed behind the scenes. Just so you know, Pat was not an outsider. He was one of the early investors who believed in Ant's vision of building classic custom-made cars inspired by mid-century British design. To support that vision, he partnered with Ant and co-founder Dan Bednarski. The partnership began with trust, but as the company grew and brought in more clients, Pat said the promises made to him were not honored. After several attempts to resolve the issue privately, he filed a lawsuit claiming he was owed millions in unpaid financial obligations. In the lawsuit, Pat, through his attorney, accused Radford Motors and its founders of failing to honor the commitments they made to him. Pat's filings claimed that Radford's leadership, including Ant Anstead and Daniel Bednarski, had diverted funds that were meant for business operations. Several reliable sources later echoed these concerns and reinforced Pat's claims. One of such claims came from another co-owner, Roger N. Bailey Jr., who filed his own complaint accusing Ant and Bednarski of mishandling company funds. According to Roger, when the company secured a new sale worth $100,000, Ant and Bednarski allegedly withdrew around $54,000 from the deposit and used it to pay a vendor for unrelated work. Shortly after that payment, Bednarski wired himself an additional $20,000, bringing the total amount in question to more than $70,000. In response to the lawsuit, Ant and Daniel said that Radford is undergoing restructuring to stabilize its finances and address stakeholder concerns away from the numerous lawsuits, and has moved on with a new relationship that has drawn almost as much attention as his television work. In 2021, he began dating Oscar-winning actress Renee Zellweger. The two met while filming Ant series Celebrity IOU, where celebrities help surprise people in their lives with restored cars. Renee appeared on the show to thank two caregivers who had looked after her close friend during her illness. The episode brought them together in a practical setting built around tools, welding, and shared effort. At first they kept things as private as possible. Renee does not use social media, and Ant shared only a few small glimpses of her life. When he did post, it was usually simple moments such as walks, quiet time at home, or behind-the-scenes photos from their days on set. Even so, the two slowly became more open. They attended events together, including a public appearance in July 2021, and were seen side by side at gatherings with friends and family. Over time, Renee became part of Ant's day-to-day family life. She spent time with his children, including his youngest son, Hudson. Reports from media outlets revealed that she formed a warm bond with Hudson and had been present at family holidays and special occasions. In 2021, she sold her own Los Angeles home and chose to base herself closer to Ant and his son in Southern California. In early 2023, the pair took another step by buying a house together, giving them a shared home near the coast and a stable place for the children to visit. Their relationship has not been built on constant publicity. Both prefer to be occasionally seen at events such as soccer matches and film premieres, but most of their time together happens away from cameras. When Renee does talk about Ant, it is usually in simple